Okay, hello and welcome to the latest instalment of the Alpha Male interview series. Today we're talking to Nate Green from scrawnytobrawny.com. The discussion is going to take about his latest venture and how you can get the alpha body of your dreams. I first discovered Nate via the Nate Green Experience website. It was filled with amazing tips and articles. Then he brought out his Built for Show book, which even a very chubby Highlander like myself worked out, lost a lot of weight, put on a pile of muscle. And then recently he's announced that he's now given up the Nate Green Experience, and his latest venture is the Program Director of Scrawny to Brawny. So I asked Nate to just drop by and give us a quick chat so he can tell us about his latest venture and give us a few tips as well. So Nate, just want to thank you for coming in. As you know, one of my main aspects of my site is I like to help guys transform, and I believe you're a great example of somebody who does things his own way, the alpha way. You know, I read the story about you took time off from your education, you took a loan out, flew across the world to go to your conference, you gave the book for the networking tool. But for those who maybe don't know your backstory, can you just give us a little intro about yourself, how you went from just a normal average dude to amazing blogger and now program director?
Oh man, I'm still. Thanks for having me, by the way. That was a really good intro. I appreciate that. I'm still a regular normal dude. I just now I just work behind a computer for most of the day, right? So it's nothing too different or nothing too crazy. But I guess it's weird talking about like the story of myself. But when I was in high school, I was really horrible at school, and I barely passed high school. I decided not to go to college, and there wasn't a lot of things going on in my life that I was really proud of at that time. I mean, I had a good family life. My parents were really amazing people. I had really good two younger brothers. I had a decent network of friends. I had one really, really good friend who's still we're really close today. So I mean, everything was good in that front, but I wasn't really pushing myself in any regard. And I discovered the gym when my friend Kyle took me in, and I remember I got pinned under 95 pounds on the bench press, and it was a really interesting moment because I realized I could go into the gym and make my body better. I could manipulate it in a way that, I could actually change something about my life, I could do something positive. And it was a very weird and different experience than what I had felt in school, when I just felt kind of lost. And I don't think I was dumb by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't think that was an area that pushed me. And so anyway, I got into the gym and read a bunch of articles on like tnation.com and Men's Health and all these different websites and stuff. And I started to try to piece things together and figure it out on my own. And I ended up gaining about 45 pounds of muscle over about a year and a half long period. And it was pretty astounding how good that made me feel, how confident that made me feel that I could take, other big steps in other areas of my life. I looked at my body and I was like, man, if I can accomplish this, if I can gain 40 pounds and change the way my body looks and change the way my mind works after that, because I can see what's possible, then what else can I do? And so I decided not to go to college, and instead I took about a year and just read every book I could get my hands on about building muscle, about fitness, exercise physiology, nutrition, business, lifestyle, a lot of fiction at the same time too, like some pretty good literature. What's that?
I mean, was there particular books that you enjoyed, a particular author, or?
Yeah, I mean, it was right around that time where I was reading stuff from all the training and nutrition gurus out there that I really are friends of mine now, but guys like John Berardi and Eric Cressy, and at the time I was reading like a lot of Chad Waterbury, who was really popular on T Nation at the time. And then in terms of business stuff, The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Man, I'm trying to think of other books at that time.
Yeah, Tim's somebody I really want to interview, but
good luck with that, man. He's a good guy. It's difficult to get him on the phone, but it can be done.
I never imagined I'd ever get you on the phone. So yeah, 4 years in the making. So
Yeah, man. But so anyway, I got to the point where I was like, this is pretty incredible, and I wonder what else I can do. And I took that year, and I flew out to some different conferences and met all these guys that I had looked up to. And they saw me as like this hungry young guy who really wanted to help people and really wanted to make a name for himself. So they kind of took me under their wing. And it just got to the point where it kind of happened organically, where I started my own personal training company in this gym. I started off there as like a fitness assistant. I was like wipe sweat off machines, and I started training people after that. And it got to the point where I got really busy and moved out onto my own and had my own training studio. And around that same time, I was also writing articles, and I got into men's health. And the only reason I got into men's health was because Alan Cosgrove actually asked me if I wanted to be in there. He was writing an article and asked if he could quote me. So it was his way of helping a young guy out, and everything just kind of spiraled from there. I got a job offer at tnation.com as a writer and editor for that site, and it's a huge site. It's one of the top, fitness, bodybuilding, whatever websites on the internet. And from there, it just kind of kept growing. I got a book deal in 2008. And I worked a lot with Louis Schuler, who is a phenomenal, prolific fitness author. And from there, I traveled around a lot, trained a lot of people, wrote a lot of articles, started my blog about 5 or 6 years ago, and I've been keeping up with that. I built a really good network of friends and people and guys that really enjoy reading my stuff. I feel pretty grateful every day that I wake up and I get to do this. And then the last year and a half or so, I've been working exclusively with John Berardi and the guys at guys and girls actually at Precision Nutrition. And most recently, I am the program director of Scrawny to Brawny, which is a 12-month muscle building hero makeover lifestyle course that we developed to help guys, do what I did and do what John Berardi did and do what all these other guys did, is to maybe change their body and perhaps through that be able to change their life. And that's where I'm at today, is just trying to help guys, just trying to help mentor people and help them see how much potential they have,
Yeah, I mean, one of the things was that I really looked to you for sort of inspiration, where you didn't follow the standard educational path. You get the parents telling you must go to college, you must go to university, or you can't succeed, where guys are afraid to step out of their comfort zones, or they fall into the usual traps of the drink, the drugs, where instead you just decided, no, you're going to step up, take control, take responsibility, and you just go from strength to strength. Can you tell us a little more about your current venture, Scrawny to Brawny? Do you have particular projects going on? I noticed there was a big winner recently. How can people follow the latest developments? What kind of resources you have on the site? Just if you just want to sell it to me, like.
Sell it to you. The program sells itself, but I will sell it to you, Ian, because I like you, and I feel like Scrawny to Brawny is perfect for everybody.
You've seen photos of me chubby, haven't you?
You need to do a different course then. You need to do the lean eating fat loss course. But I'm sure you do really well in either program. I'm sure you're doing fine just by yourself. Anyway, that was a long aside. But yeah, Scrawny to Brawny is really phenomenal. Obviously, I'm biased toward that because it's my project. But what happens is it's this new website, and it's centered around the coaching program. And what we realized is John Berardi's, I think, written 4 or 5 different books. I've written one major book and then another one that I distributed online called The Hero Handbook. And I really like the idea of trying to help a lot of people. And usually the old world way of doing that, let's just say, is to write something and then they download it or buy it and then they, try to figure it out on their own. And that's how everyone's kind of done it for as long as I remember. And I just don't think it's a good model. I think it's actually really shitty. I don't think it works at all. I feel like it kind of hit me when my publisher for Built for Show, I found an error in the training program that I could fix, but the book had already been printed, like 10,000 copies have already been printed. And I told them about it, and they're like, we'll wait for the next printing, but don't worry about it. Only about 10% of the people who buy the book are going to do the program anyway. And they said it very matter-of-factly, and it kind of like blew me away